Mike, turn your games down.
Another movie episode of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who's chasing after themselves, but that's also them over there, but that's also them over there. With me.
Hey everybody, it's me, Kenneth Sanity, and Kenneth Sanity, and Kenneth Sanity.
Nice. I'm Zach from Absolutely the Best Podcast, Work in Progress, and that bitch Sally got what she deserved.
Which one was Sally? The one that disappeared?
She's the one who called the autistic kid the arsler.
Oh, and she did get what she deserved.
Which is why I was like, ooh, she's going to die.
Yeah, that's a word we don't say as a society anymore.
Certainly not the society. So we are here to talk about a Patreon winner from April, because I did a Discord horror poll because I didn't know what to do. So there you go. So we're here to talk about Triangle, the 2009 British film directed by Christopher Smith and came out in 2009. Who would have guessed that? Oh, this movie did not make money. Woo!
No.
Nope, not at all.
Oh, I don't know the character's name, but the redhead in this movie, I forgot her name. Is that Sally?
Yeah, that's
Sally.
Yeah.
So when this movie came on, Tiff's like, I know her from something. I'm like, I don't know, and she's thinking about it, and she's like, she was in The Cloud's Daughters, which is a show that ran for 8 years in Australia, that my wife has watched all of it more than once.
Wow.
But she recognized her right away, and I'm like, what? But she had blonde hair in the show.
The person I recognized in a later movie is the guy who owns the boat. He is like the shitty lawyer brother in The Invisible Man.
Mm-hmm. And when I saw him in The Invisible Man, I was like, man, that dude looks familiar. Why does he look familiar? And then watching this again, I was like, that's where I know him from.
Yep.
Oh, he's worse than The Invisible Man.
Oh, yeah. He's such a piece of shit in that movie.
Oh, my God.
I mean, the only real star in quotations of this in this movie is her Leon Hemsworth that looks awful with short hair.
I think Melissa George is a star.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
She's
that's the main
character.
Yeah. She's the one who plays chess.
Yeah. She was in, we talked about her in Dark City. She's the prostitute who gets killed.
Yep.
And that's one of her earlier movies. But she's been in a bunch of stuff. 28
She was
Days
in 30 Days a Night.
30 Days a Night. 28 Days a Night.
You act like I've seen that movie.
What?
Are you surprised?
I can't talk. I just watched it like early last year for the first time.
Solid movie.
I've seen parts of it.
She was also in the 2005 remake of the Amityville Horror, which shot in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, just west of Kenosha.
She was in Sugar and Spice, the movie about cheerleaders robbing people.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen any of her movies besides Dark City, and I have no memory of Dark City, really.
Boy, oh boy.
I mean, I make a podcast. So if I ever went crazy, I could be like, I have no memory. Well, here, listen to this. You got, a million hours worth of you talking. Here you go. All right. So that's how we start these off with our memories. I had never seen this movie before, only knew it existed because somebody, Zach, had posted it on the Discord for me to get around to it.
That is correct. Can confirm.
Zach, what about you? What's your history with this movie?
I had heard about it probably around 2010. I used to listen to the Nerdist podcast before Chris Hardwick was a total piece of shit. And they were talking about it on that podcast. They didn't talk about it in depth. They were just like, hey, there was this movie Triangle. They also mentioned Time Crimes, which we had been discussing. And so I made a point to seek it out and watch it. And I really like it. I'm a sucker for a time loop.
No, that's fair. And when you go into this movie with no idea what you're going to watch, quite interesting. And Ken.
This is one of those movies that I saw probably on DVD in some random time that I will be entirely damned if I could remember exactly when I saw this movie. But it's a movie that stuck with me. It stuck with me a lot, and it continues to stick with me to this day.
Yeah, when I brought it up in the Discord, actually, you were the first one to be like, I second the motion. And you pointed out the special edition Blu-ray from Umbrella that I spent way too much money on.
Don't feel bad. I did too.
I don't feel bad at all. I like it. Totally worth it.
We're not sponsored by Umbrella Entertainment, but
not yet.
I wish I were sometimes. Like, hey, why not?
Fucking Umbrella Entertainment, y'all. If you want movies, go check them out. They have good stuff. But they're based out of Australia, so watch out for, tariffs.
Oh, yeah. This was pre-tariff, so it was just the shipping.
Hey, at least they didn't come from the island with only penguins on it, because that'd be even worse. Like all those. You gotta watch out for those penguins.
You do.
Trying to send stuff over here, sending over their ice. All right. Yeah, as I do for every episode of this show, I try to, as much as I can, I go into things as blind as I can. And so I didn't watch any trailers. I didn't look up anything about this movie.
Nice.
The only thing I knew about this movie was that there was a boat at some point. That's all I knew.
There is a boat. There's a couple of them.
There's no triangle, though.
There is.
There is.
I guess the sails are
Two way, more than one way.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get there.
I mean, I like doing that. I like going into movies with no idea what the hell I'm going to be happening to me. Also, don't watch this movie on Pluto with fucking commercials, because there are some I watch a lot of movies you can watch fine with commercials. You should watch this with commercials.
This is a movie that you do have to pay attention to.
Yeah. And I did actually. I was snapping a little bit. I was doing some mobile game, but I was still paying attention mostly.
All right.
I understood what was happening. Once the movie tells us, I understood.
Okay.
So I was paying attention enough. Also, to be fair, a lot of that snapping happened, I think, when the commercials came on. Because
Okay.
there were a lot of commercials, Ken. It was a little ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. That's why I try not to watch movies on those services.
I wanted to buy on Amazon and I couldn't. And then I find out I could have just watched it on YouTube for free. If this is still up or not by the time you hear this episode later this month, who knows? But
So hey, go watch it and follow along. I will say, watch the movie before you listen to this episode if you want to kind of be surprised, though. Like, there'd be spoilers, y'all, because you can't really talk about this movie without getting into spoilies.
No, we spoil everything we talk about on this podcast anyway, but this is one of those movies where, like, the joy is in the discovery.
I would emphasize that, too, though. Like, if you like a kind of a time loop thing where you're not really sure what's going on, and, probably by the end you got it mostly figured out, maybe you're going to have to watch it a second time. If that's your kind of thing, definitely watch it twice. Yeah,
this is a movie you want to watch 2 times. Oh, fuck. Okay, if I'm watching it while we're talking, I just realized her address is 237. The room that they go to at one point is 237.
I did not pick up on that.
Yeah. Yeah, we all like The Shining.
Is that the same number in Shining?
Well, I thought that's what you were making reference to.
Oh, no, I was referencing that fact that the address of her house and the address of the door is the same, and the door on the ship is the same.
Yeah, that's the room in The Shining.
Oh.
And it's interesting, right now that you brought that up, in the director, I don't think it was the director commentary, I think it was one of the other commentaries, that they said, the producer and some other person in their commentary, they said that the guy who wrote and directed it, I forgot his name, that he was influenced by The Shining as well. And I was like, I guess I see that. And they also said Memento, which I kind of was reminded of it, but I couldn't put my finger on.
I mean,
why
Memento is more of a movie being told to you by a faulty narrator.
But it's also a movie where the character is discovering what's going on as they go along.
Yeah, I got it. Sorry, my bad. It was the director commentary where he said he was inspired by The Shining. So I didn't even catch that 237, but other than that, I didn't really know if I saw. I mean, she's walking around with an axe. That's kind of Shining-ish.
Oh, I didn't think about that. I mean, I just figured, like, if you're, as a writer, like, how many items would be on the side of a boat, and an axe is... Oh, I also didn't realize the boat is called Triangle either.
Yeah, Greg's boat is called the Triangle.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and then the ocean liner, whatever it is the Aeolus.
Yep.
Which is the father of Sisyphus, who was doomed to an eternity of repeatedly trying to roll a boulder uphill.
Remember that's a fun tool that'll help us out later.
You're not wrong. Yeah, no, this is a movie that you need to watch twice. I would have, if I would have been smart enough to realize that I could have watched this on YouTube and I would have, and blocked the ads, which I'm doing right now, I'd have been much happier.
Well, we learn.
Even with commercials, I enjoyed this movie, though. Like, I am finding out now that, Ken, if you have psychological horror movies, I'm on board.
Nice.
Telling you, it's a great genre.
I can't do, I don't like slasher horror that much. I don't like really violent horror, but, psychological horror that's fucking with you, I can get behind.
Oh, one of these days, Mike, we're going to open your eyes to the world of Japanese horror.
We tried that.
No, we didn't. That was Korean,
wasn't it? If there's going to be women with long black hair and twitching like that, I'm out. Or dolls. I don't like twitching women with like arms that twist in ways they shouldn't, nor do I like dolls. I hate dolls. I say that as I stare at 200 some Funko Pops.
Yeah.
But I hate dolls. I mean, this like when this movie starts off, it makes little sense what's happening. Like you see her drive to the boat. Is she less confused at first, or she's confused the first time you see her too when she gets on the boat?
Oh, she's confused.
Okay. I was also confused. I'm like, she's with her kid. You see the kid at home, she's cleaning up the paint, and all of a sudden she's driving. I'm like, what happened to the kid? And she's like, I dropped him off at school. And I'm like, you do that? Like, yeah, okay.
Hey, speaking of that, you want me to tell you what this movie's about?
Oh God, I forgot that we do that. Please do that.
All right. It's all fun and games for Jess and her friends as they go out sailing on a lovely afternoon. A freak storm and a capsized boat later, they find themselves on a deserted cruise liner while being stalked by a masked killer. As things begin to fall apart, Jess tries her best to save her friends, herself, and her son at home while finding out how far she'll go again and again and again.
Very good, sir.
Add about 30 more again so that.
Yeah. Oh, man. Okay. So we already said this is a time loop movie. We are experiencing one version of this story. And we come to find out as the movie goes on, this has happened hundreds of times already.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's
Like,
great.
You see, when you don't, like, I didn't watch a trailer and I didn't watch anything. I didn't read anything. I didn't know this was a time loop movie.
I think that's the best way to go into it. I don't think I knew that either the first time I watched it. And
No,
then
I
you
wanted
find
that.
out.
I figured out.
Yeah. And then you find out that, it's a loop in a loop. And then you
Yeah.
find out that there's another loop.
Like, it's absolutely wild. So it starts out with Jess arriving at a harbor, and her friends are there. The previously mentioned Michael Dorman, Rachel Carpani, Henry Nixon, Emma Lung as Heather, who is almost a blink and you miss a character.
Yeah. Practically
I
a
didn't get
cameo.
that.
And Liam Hemsworth in his second movie, I think.
Oh, really?
He had done television before, but I think this was his second movie.
Oh, nice.
This
Thought he
was
was-
definitely before Hunger Games.
Okay. Yeah, I thought he was, I might have been after Hunger Games that I finally saw this movie for the first time. I thought he was more popular than that, but that
He
would
got
explain
popular
why
soon.
he's in this movie. Yeah.
Also, Hunger Games 1 is a really good movie.
Yes, his first movie was a little film called Knowing,
Oh,
directed by Alex Proyas and starring Nicolas Cage.
nice.
Is that the
Wow.
one where they go up to heaven or something like that? Weird shit.
No, he can see like 20 seconds into the future or something, right?
Yeah, something like that.
That's next, I thought.
I don't know. They're all the same.
Knowing is the one where the world is ending.
Yes, and oh god, one of these kids like has a bunch of numbers, and they're all like deaths and
Yes.
dates and coordinates for major disasters over the next 50 years.
Okay, I
Okay.
thought it was a movie about the rapture, but I don't know anything about the movie, so.
That's Left Behind.
Oh, sorry, wrong Christian movie. Okay.
Look, don't get me started on Left Behind. I've seen all the movies, I've read all the books. I am a fan. We're not going to go there.
Just know of them. Did I ever tell
But-
you I really don't like the sea? Like, you would never catch me going on a fucking sailboat. Like, fuck no.
Not in the ocean.
Same right here
hell
on
no.
land.
Look, there's a reason that the ocean is one of the last great frontiers that we have not explored. It's fucking dangerous. It's
Fucking eat your
fucking scary. There's so many problems.
I was just thinking about that with this movie. I'm like, yeah, no, thank you. No boat. No, we're staying right on land.
So we already talked about how Bucket's boat is named the Triangle. There's a reason this movie takes place in Miami.
It's near the Bermuda Triangle, near-ish.
Exactly.
I didn't realize the Bermuda Triangle was that close, even though, like, I should, because I know geographic.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you how close it is. I mean, like on a map, it looks close.
Oh, it's really fucking close, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's real fucking close. Like right there. So
Oh.
theoretically, I think
that's
you're
fair.
meant to assume that they drift into the Bermuda Triangle, and that's what's causing all this.
I mean,
That had always been my assumption.
yeah, it wouldn't take too much. If I'm looking at a map of the Bermuda Triangle, and it's weird, I see the Gulf of Mexico over here. I
The
thought,
Gulf of what?
yeah, I don't know. Oh, wait, we're being taken off the air. They're coming for me. Okay. Also known as the Devil's Triangle. I thought that was in the Great
Huh.
Lakes with the Devil's Triangle. Or is
I
that
thought the
something
Devil's Triangle was something else entirely.
else? Okay.
Not related to geography.
They have something
Ken knows
that
what I'm
says the
talking
Devil's
about.
Triangle, but maybe that's okay. I'll just leave it. We're just gonna leave it there. When I was a kid, I was obsessed with the Bermuda Triangle, and I was terrified of it. Like ever in my life, a guy who born and raised in Wisconsin at the time was gonna end up by the fucking Bermuda Triangle.
If it wasn't the Bermuda Triangle, it was going to be quicksand.
Okay, so it's not just me. Like, I was super into all sorts of Bermuda Triangle and Mothman and Bigfoot and like all of these cryptids and like the occult weird shit and like aliens. The Time Life book series of unexplained phenomena.
Yes.
That was my jam.
Same.
And like that was entirely my bread and butter as a kid. And I'm glad to know that it wasn't just me.
It wasn't.
Yeah, it was Bermuda Triangle and aliens were definitely my jam. And sharks,
Same.
but those are a real thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I was terrified of aliens when I was a kid, that they were going to come and abduct me and stuff.
All right. I'm going to say something inflammatory here. There's no telling whether or not things are real. Like the Bermuda Triangle very well could be real.
Oh, I'm not saying that it's not real, but I'm just saying, like, I've seen a shark.
Yeah.
Well, with Bermuda Triangle, I think they said there's something like with the magnetics in that section of the ocean.
Right. And like, we're never going to know what happened to all the people that vanished there. Like, yeah, okay, they may find wreckage, but we'll never know.
No.
And that's what I love about the world. Like the mysteries that we're just never going to know unless we experience them ourselves.
Can't we just send in a drone or something?
I mean, to be fair, if
safe.
you fall in the water from a plane crash or a boat crash and you start bleeding, I know what happened to you. That part, I'm 100% know what happened.
Were you there?
No, but I have an idea.
You don't 100%
brain
know.
has teeth.
You have an idea. That's my point.
But no, I was fascinated by the Bermuda Triangle. This movie also never says Bermuda Triangle either.
Nope.
No, and I think
doesn't
that's
need
smart.
to.
Yeah.
If you remember where the Bermuda Triangle is and don't think it's farther out to sea, because you don't remember.
Well, if you were a spooky kid when you were younger, that's ingrained in your head.
Well, also, like, they get capsized by that storm. Who knows how far they drifted?
Yeah. They could be in it. They could be out. Doesn't really matter. The movie's called Triangle. I'm pretty sure you're just supposed to like make assumptions.
I actually appreciate that so much rather than somebody going, oh my God, we might be in the Bermuda Triangle. I hate it when like they spell out the thing for you. Like, just have faith that we can figure it out. And they did in this movie, and we figured it out.
Man, this is the year of episodes that I'm on that are just berating filmmakers for just like have faith in your audience.
Maybe I should just shut the fuck up because I've never made a film in my life.
Well, no,
but I feel like that a lot.
It should, and it's a business thing. Like, this is what filmmaking by committee gets you. It doesn't get you movies like this where you actually have to think about it.
I mean, to be fair, this movie made $1.3 million on a $12 million budget. So,
yeah, and Umbrella sold out of their collector's limited edition.
Yeah, but when you're
all 10 copies
company, you want your money now. You're like J.D. Wentworth. It's my money and I want it now.
Well, fortunately, this was partly financed by the UK Film Council, which contributed £1.6 million for as like a lottery winning. So there is that.
That's why the lottery thing is in the opening of this movie and the credits. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Interesting thing. Like, I was watching this morning again, and I saw the Icon Entertainment logo at the beginning. I was like, man, I used to see that all the time. I'm going to look that up. Don't look up Icon Entertainment.
Well, now you can't leave me hanging.
One of their principals is Mel Gibson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like, they put out a lot of good stuff and a lot of interesting stuff, but, like, kind of tugging at the collar of your
I wonder if that
there.
was the Australian connection for the actress that plays Sally then.
This was filmed in Australia.
Oh, was it?
It was filmed in Australia, and most of the cast is Australian.
Yeah. That's right. I remember actually that's right, because Liam Hemsworth is Australian. I remember the director saying that the scene where it's like at the beginning and at the end where she goes outside her house and she asked the neighbor if he saw anybody knock on her door.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he doesn't have a line, or maybe they dubbed over it, but I guess like he all he had to say was like no, and he kept going like now, and they could not get him to say no. and have it sound like an American. So they just cut his line.
Well, in all fairness, the actors can't sound like Americans all the time either.
No.
Man, they are slipping in this movie. Like it's never big.
I want to call her Jody, but Sally, the redhead, you can hear her Australian accent come out, especially for a guy who heard a lot of her on that. You can hear it. It comes out often. And I'm like, well, she's Australian. Okay. Like, no big deal. Like, I didn't even think anything about it. Like, yeah, she's talking Australian. She is Australian. Okay. That makes sense. I mean, in Miami, Australians could have went to Miami. It works.
Yeah, but, they filmed it in Australia. That's subbing for Florida.
I also didn't know it was Florida until we started this recording.
I don't know. I don't know why. I just assumed Florida, it was Miami.
Or Miami, I don't think. I knew it was a state because it says you're leaving the state. It's a sunshine state or something. So
yeah, Florida is the sunshine state.
I thought it was state of meth.
Unofficially, but officially, it's the sunshine state.
This movie held my attention mostly. Like I wasn't bored during this film either, which is always the thing that I kind of judge a movie on. And even with commercials, Tiffany stayed awake. That's another thing I always judge a movie on too. If my wife can stay awake or not during the movie. That's a big one. She likes to sleep during movies.
That's fair.
Yeah, I've seen this. I don't know how many times. Easily a dozen, probably dozens. And every time I watch it, I feel like I catch something that I didn't catch before. It's probably more likely I forgot. But there was something that's always bugged me because we find out that, as Ken said, it's happened probably hundreds of times before because you find she loses her locket at one point, it falls down a grate, and there's 100 lockets down there, right? There's the dead seagull. She throws it off the side of the road. Oh, there's a whole bunch of dead seagulls there. There's the pile of dead Sallys, which is my favorite scene.
I love the Sally pile.
That's so good.
Was the Sally pile. Did Sally not see the pile of Sallys?
I think she was in shock.
Yeah.
She went around the corner.
She was already pretty fucked up. So, there's not much she could do. There's a bunch of dead me's. All right, I guess I found where I die.
Yep. Exactly.
I'd be screaming a little bit more if I saw a bunch of dead mics.
Yeah. That scene, actually, they said that a lot of the bodies are essentially composited, and they just had her lay in different positions, and it's all done through VFX. And then the ones that she's closer to, and when they do the close-up shots, that was just body doubles. But there was so the thing that was always kind of, I don't know if it just didn't quite add up to me. It was when she shows up at the dock at the beginning, she's out of it, and I just feel like if she went through this so many times, it's not even at one point, I feel like she's gonna be more aware of what's going on, right? And so when we're watching the movie, we are going through it the first time. She is not. How come all this stuff is a surprise to her while we are watching it the first time, right? And the director points out that when she first gets on the boat, she's out of it, right? She's had a hell of a day, and she lays down for a bit and she falls asleep. And then you see the flashes of various parts of the movies, whatever. Maybe it's a dream, maybe it's not. And he's like, this is to kind of let you know that she's experiencing some kind of amnesia. And when she repeats the loop here, she forgets the loop.
And that makes sense.
Right.
Because we will find out that the reason she's kind of out of it when she shows up at the docks was she just got in a huge fucking car accident.
Yep.
I have my own thoughts on this. One reason why I think she has no idea is because when the loop starts, nobody has an idea of what happened, and everybody has to relearn. She is just that in the loop, she's the only one that survives because she kills herself, essentially a different version of herself.
Right.
And that's why she's able to stay in the loop, because it resets a loop, and then she sticks around, but then she keeps doing it, so then you get 3 of her going essentially at all times.
Yeah, which is wild trying to do the math on that one.
Yes. I've got quite a few notebooks of paper. And I think her whole idea
was to and her whole reason why she keeps doing it, okay, this is how it resets, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill the last person, then I'm going to meet them at the boat and stop them from getting on the boat. Mm-hmm. The problem, and the simple solution to that is stab someone where they're not dead but close to death and drag their ass where the railing is, and then go, okay, die, and then shoot them. They go, okay, you're dead. Now the boat will show up and I'll stop them. But the other issue is that, there's 2 of you and they're going to be like, why are you there and you're right here? And this one's bloody and has a shotgun in her hands. So. Yeah.
So that's a weird thing, is that you find out the killer that's been stalking Jess and her friends throughout this boat is Jess. from a couple runs ago. So our Jess that we stay with is trying to find this killer. And while she's trying to find this killer, Jess shows up.
Man, when I first figured it out, I had one of those moments. I was like, wow. I mean, there's a part that hit me, but I don't want to talk about it yet. We'll get back to it. But like, there were multiple moments in the movie where I started putting together what the film was trying to tell me in between the commercials that would then ruin my experience. And I was like, oh, okay, this all makes sense. Like when you first see the first loop and the keys fall because she drops the keys, like, oh, these keys fell. And I'm like, oh no. Like it has some really good, like, and you don't realize that it's been, 50, 100 loops yet. But like when you start seeing like all the notes and everything says killed them all. And like she does the handwriting comparison because she's trying to figure out if it's her.
Yeah. I had a note about that. I was like, did she need to write the whole note to figure out that it was her handwriting? But then I was like, well, maybe it's like, it's fate. She has to write it all out because it was all written out the first time. Like, and it had, like,
and
maybe it's
also,
like she's compelled to do it.
It's that you get suckered into doing the same things that you already did.
Yep.
Because, I mean, also you would be going insane. So that also fits the whole method, too, is that you are slowly going more and more insane because you are caught in a loop. Or you're caught in a trap, some might say, and you can't walk out.
Well, it's a good thing she loves her son so much, baby. I picked it up.
I know you did. I love that song, by the way.
There was a lot of little details that I liked as well. So there's a part where she hears a record player, right? And it's skipping, and the film jumps a little bit when the record skips. And it jumps back just a little bit. I don't know if you guys caught that.
Yep,
I caught that.
I did.
Yeah, I love that. That's a really nice touch. I don't know what it means, but it was cool as hell.
I was thinking that the record player was somehow connected at first. Like for a couple seconds, I'm like, oh, they're going to have where the record player is somehow connected to this loop. It's not, but I was like, okay.
I think that when that happened and the film kind of jumped like it did, I think that was, if memory serves correctly, that was right when she figured out what's happening with the loop.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that was just a visual representation of her putting two and two together.
Yeah. There was also around... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to say that song comes back to haunt her later. Yeah. Great.
Was that the song on the radio?
That's the song that the band is playing.
What band?
The band that she goes past while she's driving right before she hits the car accident.
Like the marching band.
Okay, I did not catch that. Okay.
Yeah.
But around that same point, I think, like right after she finds the record, there's a scene where there's a mirror, like she's looking at herself in the mirror, right? And then the camera goes through the mirror, and then I think that's at the point at which she walks out and the record player's skipping and it does the jumping back and forth. But that was a really cool shot, and the director talked about that one where there's no mirror there. They used some VFX to add a little bit of like smudges on the mirror on where there would be a mirror, but it's Melissa George facing the camera and a body double mimicking her from behind.
Oh, well, that's fun.
It's really good too. I was like, I looked closely at it, and if you know that, you can see that they're not quite exactly the same, but it is really convincing.
Oh, that reminds me of Last Night in Soho with the mirror stuff.
Yeah,
there's a lot of cool mirror scenes in various movies. I was like,
I also hate mirrors, by the way. That's another one of my fears.
Join us on the podcast soon when we're going to be talking about Mirrors, starring Kiefer Sutherland.
Oh my god, that's a terrible movie.
It is not.
Maybe I'll rewatch it.
Great.
I remember it being bad, but I only ever saw it in the theater, and I don't know.
Watch the unrated version.
19. Okay.
Those kills are gnarly.
Okay, I'll add it to the list.
I don't know. I don't know why mirrors are one of those things that bother me too. I know why, because of an idiot friend when I was in elementary school.
Look, mirrors have bothered me since I've been a kid.
What about in Prince of Darkness? That's a good mirror scene.
That's a great mirror scene.
That's going to happen this year, 1st October. I promise, Ken.
Oh, really? Nice. I might. So. If everybody hasn't already put dibs on that one.
Nobody knows about it until they hear this recording.
All right. Ken and I have dibs.
Besides Ken. Ken knew.
Surprise, everybody, it's happening.
I try to keep up with my demands. I also found out that almost everything I say that I'll do, if I say it on the recording, I'm more likely to do it other than that Alien idea where I was going to cover all the movies last year. Yeah, it didn't work out so well.
Yeah.
I covered one. That's it. Yeah, this didn't happen. Still on my mind. I'm slow at getting things done sometimes. I'm slow at series. I am not fast at running through a series of movies.
I know. We're still waiting on Hellraiser 3.
There's a reason that's once a year. That's enough. So there's a lot of one thing that they do in this movie, which is common in every freaking horror movie. They split up a whole bunch, but this movie explains why they split up. Like when you watch the movie the first time, there's a couple comments that are like, "Oh, you told us to meet in the theater," and I'm like, "You never told them that. What are you talking about?"
Right.
But then as the movie plays on, you see one of the loops. She tells them to go to the theater, and I'm like, this movie clicked for me multiple times. Like with the killer, when you find out the killer is her, like it clicked a whole bunch, and I was like, and each time I was like, aha. And I just enjoyed the movie more.
Nice.
And like, what an outfit for the killer. Just a black coverall and a burlap bag on the head. Oh,
the old burlap sack.
It's giving Friday the 13th part 2.
Yes.
I like how the one guy's like, he sees the sandals and he knows it's Jess.
Oh, God. Oh. Yeah, when Greg clocks her on the balcony and then he goes over the balcony.
Well, a shotgun blast, that closer range, you're done.
Yeah. But we see how all the friends die. See it a couple times. But it's really interesting how when you're watching the first story unfold from Jess 1's perspective, you see Jess 2 kind of trying to help and fucking things up, while Jess 3, the killer, is just taking names.
She's ready to hit the reset button on this loop.
Well, because she thinks she knows what's happening to a degree.
She is very confident that she can save them by killing everyone and then starting over.
But isn't that also a sign of insanity?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could look at it as maybe a lot of this is just a delusion in her head.
That's how I take it. I mean, not delusion. Okay, I take that back. This is not high tension where she's having delusion.
Oh my God.
What I thought, I was thinking that, what I really think what this movie is trying to say, and what I thought when I first watched it are two completely different things. I have a better, much more educated opinion now at this point. But the way I first saw it, I thought that they were trapped in some kind of Twilight Zone type thing. When you start realizing the time loop before you realize it's a time loop, that's where my brain went. They're in some kind of and then I started to say, okay, they're in some kind of first I thought it was gonna be they're on a boat, there's a killer, but when everybody gets killed in the first half 45 minutes of this movie, I'm like, well, that's not hour. Hour is when it's an hour mark of this hour and 40-minute movie when she first kills the killer and knocks him off the boat. I'm like, well, we got 40 minutes left of this movie. It's not over. And that's when
at that point it just gets weirder.
It's better.
Yeah.
And the fact that they give you little pieces of the puzzle here and there, and you don't have to look to see who the characters are talking to or looking at. You can the movie just kind of tells you. That was nice too. Tale of Two Sisters. Also, I think I do better when they speak English, unfortunately. That's on me, not the movie.
It is on you.
Movie. Also, I had a bootleg Blu-ray for that watching, so I blame that too. But
yeah, that's fair.
The way that Killer Jess just fucking murders people, I feel like there was some hatred towards a few of them.
She doesn't even know any of them. She met Greg and Victor. That's it.
Oh.
Well, and Victor, she kills on accident, right?
Yeah. Yeah, she kills Victor on accident.
That's the Hunger Games guy, right?
Yeah, Liam Hemsworth.
Okay. Would it work that well if you just push somebody back up, the hook would just go in their fucking back of their head? Would that really work that way, I wonder?
That was a soft spot, man. Yeah. Everybody's got
feel that part of your head.
Yeah. I'm feeling it right now. If I got pushed up against something, yeah, theoretically.
And you're fucked at that. I mean, he's fucked at that point.
That's the same gimmick they used in that movie with Jeremy Piven, and he kills the hooker that way in the hotel.
Very Bad Things.
Yes, yeah, that's what that reminds me of.
Love that movie.
That movie disturbs me.
Yeah,
and you don't get disturbed very easily.
Yeah, darkest of dark comedies.
It is dark. That was another one I saw in the theater, and I don't think it's a bad movie by any means, but I don't want to watch it again.
It's so weird because the boat is at once wide open but claustrophobic, and I was thinking about that, and I don't think it's the boat that's claustrophobic. I think it's Jess's existence at that time is claustrophobic. Which is really, that says a lot about the way they shot this movie, the way they've planned everything out. You feel this almost suffocating weight that Jess must be feeling when, something's going on. I don't know what's going on. Why the fuck am I here? Why the fuck am I also here?
I think there was a comment about that actually, where on the first loop, they shoot it from like a higher angle, so you can see the ocean and stuff, and it looks more open. And on the second and third loops, they're shooting from a lower angle, and it seems more enclosed. I feel like that was something in the commentary discussed as well.
That is entirely fair because it is 100%.
I also find boats to be like, to me, this boat is also claustrophobic because you have so many rooms. Maybe claustrophobic is not the right word, but like, I would be scared of all these rooms where someone could be waiting to kill you in any one.
Yeah, you want to find
because you played Resident Evil Revolution or Resident Evil the
Revelations and both.
Revelations
1.
Two.
Yeah, no 1.
No,
2?
1. 2's on
One's on the boat. One's on the boat where the big slug captain
Don't forget
comes
Resident Evil
busting
Dead
out.
game. Don't forget that game.
I will. Thank you.
Also on this podcast.
I will forget that game.
It's not bad.
Okay.
Also, I was thinking about it, like, as I'm watching this movie again, like, when, I'm just going to call him Gale from Hunger Games, when he bites an apple. To me, that feels like that's also a metaphor.
Maybe.
I mean, it could be, but he's, like, found one of the 2 pieces of food that isn't rotten on that boat.
Oh, I did not realize that the food was... Wait, the food's not rotten when they first go in there, is it?
No.
No, the food's rotten when they come back.
Yeah.
I have missed that every time I watched it.
I didn't see... I was like... Because I saw him grab the apple. I watched the movie while we're talking. I'm like, okay, he has the apple. Like, oh, wait, I saw that food. That food was good. But then when she goes back on one of the loops, the food is all rotten.
Yeah, and Downey was eating a banana, too.
I remember seeing them eat the fruit. I don't remember it being, like, totally fine at first and then rotten later on. That's interesting. I have not caught that.
When she goes to the theater, or not theater, but the dining room, when she's getting choked by the guy who then kills him by shoving his fucking thumb in his back of his head. That'd be an awful way to go. That's when you see the food is all rotten.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's interesting.
I do not like seeing a finger go in the back of somebody's head. That is not.
I don't like seeing rotten food, so, you know.
that was really the bigger crime.
I worked in produce at a Sam's Club, and my job was to throw out the produce, and the rotten thing only got picked up every so often. It's a lot of rotten fruit. It doesn't bother me as much.
The worst rotten food thing I ever had to deal with when I was a kid, I washed dishes at a restaurant, and this is upstate New York in the summer. In August, somebody had left a trash can of like food scraps out overnight. It must have been more than overnight. It was teeming with maggots. And you could just hear them squirming. And me and my buddy who I worked there with had to go dump it. It was disgusting.
Ugh, no, thank you.
Yeah, maggots aren't fun.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I can't do stuff like that. No.
Well, it turned out I could. I don't think I'd do it again. But
when I was a kid, I wanted to be a detective. That never happened, obviously. That was one of my goals.
Never too late.
I have less desire now to be a cop.
Maybe you could be a pet detective.
Also, my wife would not be okay if I would have became a cop or a detective, anything. So
look, detectives aren't cops. Detectives.
No, but I'd have to go through that whole system to get there. I'm pretty sure.
Not necessarily.
And you need a college degree in Minnesota to be in police force.
Detectives aren't necessarily police.
Oh yeah, private eyes, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm a podcaster and a sales guy. That's the road. That's the life.
You're investigating movies.
There is that.
There you go. And games.
Yes.
And other things that your mom finds.
It'd be mostly food. If I really wanted to make this podcast true to what my mother is like, it would be me finding different food. That's all she cares. She loves food. So.
Hey, food's good.
I've thought about doing a food episode.
I do a lot of shit, but So when I started to realize more things that this movie goes, like there's one point when she drops the locket that we kind of mentioned. Like, I mean, just think about like what is going through her mind as she's realizing she's stuck in this fucking loop.
Yeah, it's terribly upsetting. And then she sees the Sally corpses, and then the note. Like, there's so many different things that she sees that, like, okay, yes, I've been here before. And that's not the worst one. The worst one is the bird.
Oh, yeah.
But yes, I don't want to go there yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for that. Like, everything that she does on the boat, like, because I kept thinking, okay, like, she's stuck in a time loop, but she's going to get out of it. She's going to find a way out of this loop. She's going to get off the boat. Like, eventually, that's going to happen. This movie isn't just going to be her stuck on the boat forever. that's how my brain went. And like part of it, I rationalized to why she's getting so upset is that she doesn't know, like her son is waiting for her. She doesn't know how long they've been out at sea. You know, she's upset. Even though I'm like, I don't really remember her dropping off at school. Like this is weird. Like he's in the car and then she's at a boat. Like you don't see anything with him. I didn't think much about it. I'm like, okay, she dropped him off school, whatever. But like that's where my brain was going because she makes that line saying, you know, my home is waiting for me. You know, wondering why his mom hasn't picked him up from school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you know, I was looking at, you know, so I wasn't thinking about that. Like, okay, that's how I was rationalizing why she's trying to get out of this time loop. You know, she's trying to get off this boat, and it makes sense why she's going slowly insane because she also thinks that the other versions of her think the only way to stop this is to murder each other so we can get out. And to me, that's a logical idea.
I mean, she's seen it work.
Yeah. I mean, if you're in a time loop, there's always gonna be something that resets it, and then you're trying to use that as the idea to escape it. I'm saying if those time loops are real as anything. I mean, they could be. I have no fucking idea, but I act like I've been in one or something. And I have been in video games. But like that's how I took it in this movie. And I was wrong. She kills the killer at about 42 minutes into this movie.
Okay.
Almost an hour left. Oh, I laughed every single time the killer throws the shotgun at her when it runs out of ammo. I laughed. Every single time they show it, I laughed.
You know, there's something to be said about just a good, simple, stupid thing that shouldn't work but does.
It works because it makes sense. This is not a trained killer. This is not a fighter. This is a woman who's trapped in an insane situation. And so her solution is just, fuck, it's out of ammo, fuck it, just throws it. Like, it makes sense. You're out of ammo, your gun's empty, what are you going to do with it? Why not throw it and try to knock the person off?
Yeah, especially since you got to be pretty sure you can take yourself.
You'd think so. But then again, she is wearing a hood, so her vision is less, too.
Yeah, those eye holes just need to be a little bit bigger.
But also, I think part of it was on purpose, is how I took it. Because when the first time she kills the killer, or every time she kills the killer, she climbs up onto the railing, and then she doesn't hit her, she falls off into the water.
Yeah.
And later on, you find out there's another, what happens to that part of it?
Oh, that is... So, Arjess, the one that we've been following, eventually gives in, puts on the black coverall, puts on the burlap sack, and starts killing her friends. Well, her friend and his live-on boy companion and the two people that she doesn't know. And she almost gets away with it, too. If it wasn't for that damn self.
The damn meddling self.
Yeah. And she can't kill herself because she knocks herself off the railing.
But at the same time, when her self knocks off, that still resets it.
It doesn't really.
Felt like it did.
Like, kind of, but also no. Like, I think we're there. We need to talk about
We got to pull the Band-Aid off, Mike.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
I'm good.
All right. So when Arjess, the one we've been following this entire time, gets knocked off the railing, she ends up washed ashore in Florida, apparently walking distance to her house.
I was thinking the same thing.
Running distance.
Yeah. So at the beginning, we know that Jess's doorbell got rang. She goes out, asks the neighbor if she saw anybody. He says nothing because that line got cut because he just keeps going, nah. But turns out the Jess that falls off the boat and gets washed up goes back to kill the original Jess in the house.
Who was treating her son pretty unfairly.
Very badly.
And I've actually really liked that scene, not of her abusing her kid, but of her like killing her earlier self, or I guess now killing the version of herself from earlier in the day. Because it's the shame. The shame of having done that to her own son, and like the guilt that she's been dealing with because of the other things that are about to happen, but that she knows about from the previous loop. Actually, no, she doesn't know about that because
she doesn't remember.
Not at this point.
But she she has this shame of seeing herself do that, and I don't know. I like that. I can't really express in words what it was that meant in terms. I don't know if it's a metaphor or what.
I have my own my opinion of what it is, and I think I'm right. I think this is what they were going for. Is that she was like, when she comes in and she sees herself treating her child like shit, I feel like she knows, like her memory is there enough that she knows how she did. And after everything that happened and losing him, now she's trying to look at life differently, and she's so angry with who she was, or who she is, I should say. And that's why she just fucking hammers herself. And it's a hammer that she uses. I feel like that's symbolism in
pretty
itself,
brutal.
too. Because, like, there are other ways to kill a person or yourself, in this case, than a fucking hammer. Hammer's got to be a brutal way to go, too.
Oh, no, thank you. I guess thinking about it now, again, no parent is perfect. She goes way overboard. That's extreme. I would, I only lay hands on my kids, but sometimes I'm a little mean, and I'm not proud of what I said. And I'm like mad at myself about it. And I feel like that is a much more extreme, like what she does is a much more extreme version of, of the wrongdoing and then the overcorrecting of that wrongdoing.
Oh, yeah, overcorrecting. All right. But also it's the situation of the way I took it is she's a single parent. She's frustrated with the man and she's frustrated with her life. And she takes it out on the kid because I think that happens. I mean,
that totally happens.
I was a single parent. I mean, I had help, but like I was still a single parent. I mean, there was anger, there was frustration. Like it's in you. So like I can get and then she's in a in a lone situation, and it looks like the kid is also nonverbal. So you can't tell anybody. So that's kind of how I took it too, is that after she goes through this scenario, she is able to kill what she sees as the bad part of herself. Also, I don't think she actually ran all the way from the beach. She hitchhiked and then run. Or maybe
she tries to hitchhike. I don't know if she got right or not. Yeah,
she must have.
She must have been able to.
Yeah.
And then, you don't want the person to drop you off your house. You drop off, especially when you're like, hi,
that's fair.
This is also me, or someone else to, so you're going to rather run over.
What I want to know is, what does Australia have against children with autism? Because you have this movie, you have the Babadook, which comes later.
It didn't even occur to me that kid was autistic. I thought he was.
I noticed it immediately.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, I don't know what Australia's problem. Take a look at yourself, Australia.
Is it?
I mean,
okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate. Are they saying bad things about autistic kids, or are there just autistic kids in the movies?
I would say it's more just autistic kids in the movie. I don't think this is any. This is showing a situation, somebody not understanding what's being stressed out in life, and then not responding well to how they should be, which happens.
Yeah, and that's also the entire plot of the Babadook, pretty much.
And even when Sally's like, "Oh, it's not my fault that her kid is Arsler," which I was like, I do have, my son is mildly autistic, and even if he wasn't, I think I would still take offense to that. Like, that's totally uncalled for. But she's a shitty person, and she gets what's coming to her. So like, I didn't take it. I wasn't offended by the movie. I was just like, oh, like she's gonna get it later. She's gonna deserve it.
Also, to be fair to the movie, none of this is real. So,
are you sure?
Or
yes, I don't think any of this is real. I think she is trapped in a nightmare of her own creation. In my opinion, as the movie progresses a little bit more, she's in purgatory. Because I thought, when I first saw the scene, I'm like, she got out of the time loop. She just went back before it happened. I'm like, you need to kill yourself, but I get it. You can't have two of you existing at the same time, even though technically if that's the one before you and you kill that one, that means you should fade away too, but that's neither here nor there. Whatever, we can go with I have my own time. I've thought a lot about time shenanigans. So
Same.
I'm like, okay, she kills herself. I'm like, okay, you put yourself in the back of the car. I'm like, if a cop stops you, they're still going to be like, why is there a dead body in the back of the car? It's not going to work. Well, you see, that's me from a day ago before I went on this trip. It's not going to work out in court.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. If you kill an exact copy of yourself, I don't think there's a court in the world that'll be able to figure out how the fuck to charge you.
No, but you ain't leaving.
Probably not, but...
I mean, you might leave eventually, but you ain't leaving that quickly. And you ain't seen your kid again either for a while.
Yeah.
So that's what I thought was going on. Like, okay, I'm like, oh, she got out. She took her aggression out on her previous self. And she learned her mistake. And then when watching that part, she comes in with a hammer and just fucks herself up. And then when the kid sees it, he sees mommy killing mommy. He's like, I'm like, that's gotta fuck with you in the head. Like,
yeah, if he wasn't already traumatized by getting hit by his mother, watching his mother kill his mother has just put everything into question.
Not even like, because for some, if you didn't know what we're talking about, it's like, okay, he has two mothers. No, this is the same mother, the exact same person killing themselves.
Yeah.
What I also really like about the scene when we basically revisit it at the end of the movie the kid is upset because of what he just saw, right? But when you see at the beginning of the movie, the way it's played out, it's like he's upset because it's not his routine and like they're doing
That's
something
how I
different.
took it.
Yeah. And then but you don't find out till later that, it's because of what he saw.
Yeah, but I was also like, why? When you're watching, I'm like, why the fuck you put on the locket? Like, that locket was on when you were in the boat. Don't put the fucking locket back on again. Be like, wait a second.
But the locket is her reminder
That she killed herself?
that she's going to keep going.
Okay, also, where the fuck was she going with that body?
I don't know.
Like,
Swamp? It's It's Florida.
Ooh, yeah.
Maybe a swamp.
Yeah, but
Let those gators get it.
Yeah.
You could feed a body to a gator.
Yeah. It's not even that hard. People do it all the time.
Yeah.
So I've been told.
Yeah. I don't know either.
I
Wink.
actually do know a story of someone getting eaten by a gator, but I can't share that here. So,
Fair.
so when she hits the bird, I was like, okay, because I still did not realize what the movie was going to do to fuck with me. And I've been purposely wanted to go around on this, but when she picks up the dead bird and she throws it in the pile, and all of a sudden there's all these dead birds, I'm like, oh no, this is all part of the loop.
Yeah.
Welcome to the third loop.
I was sad. I really was sad for her. I'm like, oh no, she's not out. She's still completely in.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
I felt bad for her.
That is a great twist in the movie.
It is.
It really is.
It's a better twist than to find out that she's the killer all along.
Yeah.
Okay. But no, it's a good twist. And like her son starts freaking out when he sees the dead bird, which is fair because like my son at that age wouldn't have been okay to see me picking up a dead animal. Wouldn't be okay. Wouldn't like it now either. He loves animals. But like, the kid starts freaking out, but also like there's blood on the car. I'm like, clean off the fucking blood. Like turn on your water and you wipe it away. And also like how much she's yelling at him or like, not paying attention to where she's driving. I get that. I've done that before. Like there were times when my son was little and I was driving, he's kicking the back of my seat when he's like 4 years old and having a moment. And I'm like, oh, I get that. Like you still got to drive. But when she sees the bird pile, it's like maybe I think this is when it kind of clicks that she's like, this was a loop too for her.
Yep.
I feel like
a subtle hint.
And then the way that and also like, there's an early scene where you see crabs early in this movie for no reason at all.
It's when she's asleep on the boat.
Oh,
there's like a flash of it of the crabs crawling around, but then they're crawling around in the dead bird pile.
But also, as a guy who drives a lot or used to, like you should be able to drive and look away and be able to at least go straight. I can do it. I'm saying you should,
right, but the road was turning.
Oh, that's why she died.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so I
she was going straight just fine.
Oh, yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah. I don't know. I have a rule of thumb that if I look at my mirrors or anything in the car, it has to be within a second and back to the road. It can't. I try to make myself never look at anything too long, more than a second.
Okay, but she just has been through several time loops.
Fair enough.
Fell off a boat, woke up, ran home, killed herself.
Yeah, she killed herself.
Threw a seagull into a pile of dead seagulls and realized she's still in a time loop. So
she's having
probably a little bit distracted.
So when she crashes the car, the way that I teach horror movies, the people aren't looking at her standing by the car. No one pays her any attention. They pay attention to the dead body. They pay attention to the kid that's also dead. Nobody talks to her but the random fucking taxi driver wearing all black.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
so I always just thought that he was a dick. And he was like trying to trying to turn it into a business opportunity. But you guys seem to think differently.
You go, Ken.
Well, in keeping with the whole Greek mythology angle with Aeolus and Sisyphus,
fair.
I was thinking, okay, this is Charon, the ferryman of the River Styx, and he's giving her the opportunity to move on, but she doesn't. Like, she refuses to go.
Yeah, she hasn't.
This is a hell of her own making, but I also believe that it's absolutely real. And there's a reason why she has to kill everybody is because the loops are centered on her. Right. That's my firm belief. And this is some punishment that she's going through.
And she falls asleep in the cab too, by the way.
Yeah.
Right. So already starting to kind of wipe her memory.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he drops her off, he's like, I'll leave the meter running. And he's like, you'll be back, right? And she's like, yeah. But I don't know. I don't know what that was supposed to mean. Because
I think it's like, hey, you got to move on.
Yeah.
I'll be waiting. Go do what you got to do, but come back because you have to go on. And she's like, oh, yeah, sure.
I think Ken's right that because the Greek mythology is in this movie constantly. Like when the car crashed, same symbol is on the drum. I mean, it can be taken two different ways. I was thinking of Death, but that's because I have a particular affection for a character named Death in a certain comic. But so that's where my brain was going to, is that he's Death. But even though the fact that like his whole job is just to take her across to wherever she needs to go, like he's like, hey, I'll give you a ride. I'm a driver. That fits more with Ken's theory. And I think that's what the movie's going for.
Yeah. And it's not even really my theory. Like, I thought about it while I was watching the movie. And, you know, I brought it up to you guys. And then when I was doing my research later, while I was waiting my friends to show up where they were supposed to show up and were late, I'm not the only one who came up with that idea.
No, but you are the only one on said podcast right now.
Right. So, like, I'm glad to see that there are a bunch of minds that are thinking similarly about this movie because, man, it's a treat of a movie to dissect and think about and play in your head. And, oh, man, the geography of this movie is so well done because you always know where everybody is.
Yeah.
And trying to keep track of that thing with like 3 different loops, the movie it lays it out wonderfully. So big props.
It does it better than I expected. Oh, and fun fact that nobody asked for. The main character in this movie, Melissa George, also was on Grey's Anatomy for about 8 episodes.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
So when I was looking at her earlier, her movies, her TV shows, I saw that and I sent a picture to Tiff. And she's like, I knew I recognized her. So, yeah, she was one of the doctor's interns at one point.
Okay.
Also, it was 2008, 2009 when she was on that show.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, and had blonde hair, too.
Interesting.
No, this movie fucked with me. I will say that. Good way.
It's supposed to.
I know, and it was good. I was like, at the end of this movie, I'm like, oh, like I started explaining some of it to Tiff because maybe she was falling. No, she was awake. She was just kind of, the commercials were pissing her off a lot. I mean, a lot.
If you like this, I think you will like Time Crimes.
Oh, you will like Time Crimes.
And I think probably Predestination as well. Time Crimes is the better movie, though, of those two.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully we'll talk about Time Crimes someday.
I like psychological horror. There's no question with that. Like, this is one of my kicks for horror movies. And this movie just cemented it more for me, how much I like this type of horror. Like, In Mouth of Madness is also considered psychological horror.
Oh, yeah.
I fucking love that movie.
Great movie.
Go listen to the episode, people, if you haven't.
Yes,
right. Any last things you guys want to say?
I think I covered everything of importance.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll just go to Shelf Stacker Box. And Ken, why don't you lead us in?
Oh, I'm absolutely going to put this bad boy on the shelf. Not just because it's a great movie, but it's also on my literal shelf of movies. This is one that I absolutely had to purchase the special edition Blu-ray of from Umbrella Entertainment.
Future sponsor.
Yeah, hopefully. This movie is it's a treat. And there are like 3 commentaries that I have not watched and I will be watching. It's fun. It makes you think. It trusts its audience. It doesn't give you all the answers and it makes you do the work for yourself. And I like that. I wish more movies did that.
Yeah.
Take a shot every time Ken says that on one of these episodes. You won't be drunk, but you'll have a few shots here and there.
Also, everybody listening, go check out Christopher Smith's other movies. Go check out Creep. Go check out Severance. Like, those are all just fun movies.
He talks a lot about Creep in the commentary for this, actually. But you mentioned that there are 3 commentaries. Yeah, I only listened to 2 of them because the one with the production designer and the cinematographer, I listened to about 10 minutes. It just wasn't grabbing me. I don't know. Maybe that's more your style, but it wasn't for me. But I did listen to the other 2. Found them entertaining.
Commentaries, you've got to be in the right mood, I think, too, or really like the source material enough that you want to hear someone talk about it.
Yeah. I've gotten all the time listening.
I've gotten into the habit of doing the commentary because I do it for my own show because I'll find something interesting to talk about usually in the commentary. There's only like the Spider-Man movies don't have commentaries because Sony sucks, and there's only ever been it was the second Black Panther movie, the commentary in that. It was just them talking about how great this transition was and stuff, and they were just patting each other on the back the whole time and said nothing interesting about making the movie or something you might have overlooked. And for the first Black Panther movie, it was a really good commentary, so I was surprised. Anyway, sorry. I'm
The
rambling.
movie was made by a committee.
Yeah, that's fair. The further along we get with the MCU, the more they are made by committee for the most part.
Black Panther Wakanda Forever had its own problems, mainly because their star died.
Yes.
Oh, for sure. That's still hard to.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest problem that movie has.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree too.
At least they didn't use a CGI version of him.
Woof.
Anyways, should I do stack shelf or box?
Yes, please. I couldn't remember if you did or not. And I was trying to think in my head if you did or not.
I did not. I went off on commentaries.
We got distracted.
Back to Triangle. I love this movie. I've seen it so many times. Pretty much everything in it eventually makes sense by the end, especially if you've seen it a few times. I'm always a fan of a downer ending, so that gets points for me as well. This one is on the shelf. I already had it on the shelf, and I literally had to make room on my shelf for the collector's edition Blu-ray that I just bought from, what was that sponsor again, Ken?
Oh, that was Umbrella Entertainment out of Australia.
That'd be the one to have.
It really would.
I never reach out to people to ask for sponsorship, nor am I going to. But I think about it.
No.
I don't have enough. I have enough downloads over time, but not enough to someone to go, oh, hey. Okay, so you said shelf, stack, or box, right?
I believe I said shelf. If I did not, it's shelf.
Okay, I'll go next. So I came in this movie with really no expectations. I mean, Jeff was like, "Is this even going to be any good?" I'm like, Ken likes it, so there's that. Like, I'm pretty sure it'll be good.
Good chance.
If Ken likes it, I have faith. So yeah, but I knew nothing, went into it, and I'm like, damn, this is actually a really good movie, and I ended up leaving really liking it. You know, I had a really good time watching this movie. Like this, I probably won't watch it again anytime soon, if not ever. Maybe not ever, but I will definitely tell people about it. Just don't watch it on Pluto. But I will definitely, recommend it to people because this was a really good horror film. This is my kind of horror film. So going on the show. So thank you, Ken and Jack, for getting me to watch something I never didn't even know existed.
I am a little bit surprised at how much you liked it. Not necessarily that you liked it, but how much. So that's great.
I mean, I don't have my final girl. I mean, technically she survived.
I mean, that, like I said earlier, I said in the chat, she is both final girl and slasher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is pretty dope.
And I liked her, so yeah. I don't know. Just I enjoyed this movie. I enjoy psychological horror. It hits the right for me a lot of times. Yeah, go on the shelf. I'm glad we watched this. I'm glad you guys convinced me to.
Me too. So here's what everybody out there should do. Now, Mike's going to tell you about our Discord in a little while, and that's great. You should come join our Discord, but you should specifically join our Discord for more psychological horror movies for Mike to watch. Because the more he gets into psychological horror, the more he's going to be open to horror in general. And the faster we get Mike into horror in general, the faster I get to cover The Grudge. So please, everybody, for your Uncle Ken, give him movies to watch, please.
All right, I guess, we'll just finish plugs. So yeah, you mentioned Discord. Zach, where can we find you at?
Absolutely the best podcast, a work in progress. Google that. You'll find us. We are covering the MCU movies. By the time this comes out...
End of the month.
Yeah. Okay, so shortly after this comes out, I will have a quick take on Thunderbolts, which Mike will be on. And I think we're supposed to have Michael Colby as well. And yeah, just check us out if you like the MCU movies. And even if you don't, you might still like the show.
Great. And if you enjoyed this episode and you want to hear more, everything we do is on Podbean. We have over 800 episodes of this podcast. We do movies, comics, TV shows, all sorts of crap. So listen to our giant catalog of content. If you want to support the show, we do have Patreon, like how this came forward. This was a Patreon voted episode. So join our Patreon, a little dollar, you can vote in our polls. I have 1 to 2 polls a month. So it depends how far behind I get. When I get behind, it goes down to 1, but normally I try to do 2 polls. So you guys do get to affect some of the movies that come out on the show. As you mentioned, we have Discord. Guess how you want to be on the show. If you want to suggest things for the show, if you want to lurk, I don't care. Join the Discord. Always happy to have new people join us on there. I want to give a shout out to my awesome intro and outro, courtesy of Helena at Hell Has Fear. You can follow her on TikTok and Instagram, and check out A Gamer Looks at 40 of Bill Tucker. You can find him. You'll see a link in the show notes to him. He's talking Final Fantasy, I'm sure, still at the end of this month. But definitely go check out his podcast. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, YouTube, audio only, and rate and review wherever you get your podcast. I think that's everything I need to say. So we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
So long.